XYZ looks like HIV. I hope not. Got it from playing this game too much. I've been losing a lot of boxing matches recently, so it's about that time. Give Pathy a high five. Here we go. I'm suing. We heard J. Cole say that. I don't think that that's true. He's also a multi-millionaire who suffers from success of his rap career. Probably doesn't want to come off as a narcissistic poet. So he's got to say that sort of thing. You know, he lives a life where if he tries to act like too boastful, too proud of his music, then he'll come off a certain way. Kind of like what happened to 6ix9ine. Like, nobody likes that guy, even though he thought that his music was riveting. Don't get me wrong, he had like a couple good songs. He had songs that my ears didn't bleed to. Let's put that into perspective, actually. They weren't good. What I'm trying to say is that pride is not the devil. Having too much of any one thing can be dangerous. Even money. Look at Stephen Hawking. We thought that guy was perfect. Smartest man in the world. He looked like he could catch a fly between his teeth. And then he turned out, he liked watching certain people do calculus. We live a life that's parched of purpose, lacking self-confidence. I'm not trying to point any fingers here. It can come in many different varieties. Some of us are socially anxious. Some of us are short. Some of us are gay. Some of us have a small penis. You know, whatever the issue is, you know, we can overcome it together. Teletubbies. Teamwork. Finding something that you're good at and taking pride in it is healthy. Being proud of who you are or who you're becoming is what makes you you. I guess your mistakes included in there or something like that. You know, not living life in regret, whatever the hullabaloo is about that. I've done plenty of things that I regret. There's a couple things that I can point out when I was a kid that I didn't need to do. I did it for my own entertainment and at other people's detriment. Look, if we're a day trader that's expanding, contracting their graphs, even when the stocks have closed past 4 o'clock, right, in public, looking like we're hard, making a ton of money. Let's be realistic. We're just gambling here, son. But however, if someone is really good at it, I'm going to go right up to them and ask how they do that, because that's a crazy profession. That's got to take so much stress. My buddy growing up did that. Anyway, I digress. What I'm trying to say is that if you're not making things that you're good at part of your personality, then what is it supposed to be? Your daily routine? Oh, every morning I like to throat half a banana covered in honey before my morning run. I don't even go on runs. And then when I get home, I make a protein shake, hang out with the dogs a little bit. Like, what? You sound like a TikTok influencer that's trying to maximize the longevity of their life. What's that one dude? I don't know. I can't remember the dude that looks like an alien, but he's trying to live forever. At what cost? Your only hobbies are injecting needles and comparing your sperm to your son's. Like, I'm good, dude. Seriously, go ahead. Make it your whole personality. If it's not about the things that you've accomplished and the things that you're proud of, then what else would make us unique as people? Seeing how much more you can drink than someone who can shotgun the beer the fastest? That's only cool for 2 years when we're in college. Since when is it bad to have pride? Since the 2010s, we've come to learn that that's the best thing you can do. If they can do it, we can do it too. That's how you earn the coolest friends, is never shutting up about something. Like, if I were to go up to someone, and talk about the fact that I love Halo, it's my favorite game, and that's the only conversation that I will have centered around that, it's going to get annoying. But if someone asks me about it, of course, I'll bring it up. We'll go into a crazy branch of conversations from there. I don't like talking about myself that much. It kind of comes off as pretentious. At least that's how I feel about it, which is kind of ironic because I love hearing people talk about what they're passionate about and what makes them tick, what they're good at. I think that's the best way to share knowledge. I ask people like 1,000,001 questions. I'm that kid in class that's always raising his hand if I don't understand something. And that even has to do with social settings. I like to learn how people are good at things, especially if I'm like slightly interested in it. I'll never shut up. I won't leave you alone if I'm interested in it. That's what makes for a good conversation. Don't like people don't really care about your tax bracket, how many bops you slay, or what your political views are in the real world. I've got a surrounding of people that view the world very differently from me, but we have good debates, good conversations about this sort of thing. It's just the way that we interact with people, the way that we carry ourselves, and how friendly we can be, making their day better, that people really care about. It's respecting other people's opinions and being genuinely interested in their lives. And if people can't celebrate your victories and what you're prideful about and what your accomplishments are, screw them. How else? What else would make us unique? Oh, he makes it his whole personality. Yeah, I'm gonna go into a circle from the last segment. We can never stop learning from each other. Learning from the internet is great, but the best way to learn about the world is asking people questions. Don't we want to be proud of who we are? No one wants to be around someone that thinks poorly of themselves because they end up evoking negativity, often in the form of projecting it on other people, getting too personal when it comes to roasting, and then someone gets offended. You know, we don't want to go there. That's kind of how I know if I'm feeling down in a certain way. I'll like take it too far. But having pride in something or being proud of yourself about something you've accomplished helps strengthen your confidence in the way that you see yourself. No one deserves to be in a rut the way that we often are, and it's impossible to not compare yourself to others. It's impossible to not compare yourself to others. The problem is that today we all think about it constantly. It's hard not to. We're scrolling and we become envious of where people are in their lives compared to ours, as opposed to maybe using it as motivation, which is what we should be doing, but that's easier said than done. Look, I was an unconfident little prick when I was in middle and high school. It wasn't until college that it hit me and I realized that no one knew who I was and I could reinvent myself. Like, it sounds corny, but there's some truth to that statement. I just realized that no one knew who I was, and the person that I wanted to be was like entertaining and comedic. I wanted to make people laugh. That's really all I wanted to do. So I started to try to carry myself differently. You know, the things that I was good at? Halo, flipping, and making friends and making people smile. And that's all I ever wanted to do. And in my experience, that helped. Knowing that there was just a couple things in my life that I felt that I was good at or good enough at to make myself feel better, it started to rub off on other people and made some good friends in college. I don't mind being a jester. I just wanted people to have a good time and make them feel comfortable around me. Making fun of yourself and not taking life too seriously is the best way I've found that we can do that.